Hello, and welcome to the Venue Coach Blueprint for Owners. I'm Kyle Labar. This podcast is all about helping you fill your wedding venue with more bookings, earn more from each one, and keep your customers happy for a long time. We'll also talk about some tough times and big lessons that I've learned along the way. Let's dive in together and make your venue the best spot for weddings.
And that being said, it was just me and my wife viewing it. I think we discussed before. You have multiple people. Wife, spouse, and family members,
Parents,
right?
yeah.
And that can equate to more time. But it was just me and my wife. She said there's no timeline. You have as much time as you want to explore everything, and I will answer all of your questions.
Oh, nice. Okay. So then you're exploring, and I imagine that there's only so much to see.
Yes.
So
correct.
how long did you spend?
I think we took about an hour,
Okay.
maybe an hour and a half.
Sure.
It wasn't even that long.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what else? What else blew you away?
So we did all of that, and then we get to the end.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what really blew me away as the husband is she handed us anything extra that we could add on to the wedding. They have their preferred caterers, open bar, closed bar type of stuff, which we had seen on their website, but she was very transparent and she handed it to us.
Okay.
And she talked about options and what it would look like if we did X, Y, and Z.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, that was very open and honest.
Yeah. Now, did you find that to be a little distracting to the actual event, or what was your thought there? Like, you were grateful to receive it, but it doesn't seem like she put a lot of focus on that.
Correct. Yeah, she handed it to us, and she explained we can add all these things. However, she continued to talk to my wife on the emotional level while I got to examine.
Let's hear a bit more about that.
Yeah, on the emotional level, she's talking about, hey, imagine your bridesmaids and him over here, and then she took her upstairs while I'm examining the numbers. Imagine, and we talked about this later because I didn't see it firsthand, but she talked to my wife about imagining your bridesmaids and your husband and the groom, and all his guys up, in the barn. So she allowed, and I believe it was built in on purpose. I'm not sure if they've done research, but it was the best experience it could have been to where I could really crunch numbers in my head and think about what more I could add financially and be responsible, but have the best day while my wife is looking at what she would want on her day.
So that's really interesting because it really does matter because we talked about this already. The bride to be is the decision maker.
Correct.
And it's such an emotional decision.
Yes. Because
it's tied around, you're marrying the person that you love, that you want to spend the rest of your days with. And so there's a lot of emotion already built around it.
Yes.
And so tapping into that emotion during the sell.
Yes.
And so let me ask you this, because here's a thought that I've had that I think that really kind of resonates with this. But was the manager, was she ever in the beginning or anywhere through the tour, was she referencing that, like the emotions that you guys had for each other?
Yes. So it was interesting. She started off very soft, which honestly I appreciated, to take, a full view of what's going on, where we're at. But she would slowly introduce it into the very end, which was the crux per se.
So give us an example.
So in the beginning, these are our facilities. This is what we can offer.
Yeah.
And this is how many we can seat.
Sure, just basic facts.
Correct.
Okay.
And then we would build into it to where, after you're done viewing the indoor facilities, those were the hard numbers. You go to outdoor where you really want to be, and then she starts envisioning.
So what sorts of things was she saying?
So during the envisioning process, she would talk about, all right, the seats will be here and here. You'll have the aisleway in the middle. And by the way, this is where you'll be standing. And on top of that, she was going over, like the vows and the different music options. And oh my gosh, you would be so beautiful right here. I can't think of any more specifics at the moment.
So she was selling the day.
Yes.
And helping you see it.
Yes.
Did she build any rapport, like asking about how you guys met or things like that?
That came later. I would say 3/4, 75% through to build the rapport. And she did ask specifically, I'm glad you brought that up, those questions. And she also, asked about the families, how they got to where they were, where she was from, specific, giving her side of it a little bit just to build in the rapport.
Okay. Because one thing that I teach is to actually start building the rapport at the beginning.
Really?
Yeah. So what we do is when a couple comes in, we immediately start with, hey, how'd you guys meet? When did you get engaged?
Yeah.
Oh, congratulations. That's so exciting.
Right.
And then we start talking about them.
Yes.
And then I want to hear how the proposal was, those sorts of things, because then they remember, like, this is a fresh memory.
Yes.
And it's full of emotion.
Yes.
So now we're going to tap into that emotion right away, right? So now we can start talking about all those other things that you've mentioned.
Yeah.
And now we're tying that emotion into our place.
Which is very smart. For me, like, again, it's not from my wife's perspective, but for me, I enjoyed, specifically driving in and having that talk. It was nice.
Definitely. Okay, so then at the end, she hands the thing, she separates you two.
Yes.
Leaving you alone to crunch numbers while getting your wife to feel and see what it could possibly be in the big day.
Yes.
And then you get back together. They both come back, and then what? So
they both come back, and then she gives me this funny side eye, like, okay,
the eye.
Yes, you're familiar.
I've seen that eye.
Yeah, so that was my green light, and I had already crunched the numbers, and I knew what we could do. So that being said, I kissed her, and I said, okay, this is definitely an option.
Not music to my ears as the manager.
I know.
So did the manager try to get you to book on the spot?
She did.
Of course she did. Well, and that's good. That's her job.
Correct. Yeah. No, and I know that how, any venue you go to, that is their job.
Well, and you're going there to book a venue.
Right. And I don't know if me and my wife are outliers or other, but we knew we wanted to see our top 3.
You're not uncommon.
Okay.
It's not uncommon.
Okay.
We had somebody tell us that they wanted to see 36 venues.
Holy
Yeah, crap. We're like, okay, good luck with that. You're going to be exhausted. But typically seeing a couple, because it's a big decision.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, it makes sense.
But when she tried to sell the deal, again, very, very straightforward, not pushy. And that was our big thing too, is you give us the numbers, get personal, but let us go, please.
Yeah.
So that was very nice. And we knew we were in good hands, which was the big deal.
Yeah. And so what we do, we focus on, because, we get about 30% that book on the spot.
Okay.
And so you're not uncommon.
Okay.
But what we do is we will say, of course we're going to ask.
Yes.
Because 30%.
Right.
How do I know that you're not one of the 30%?
Right.
Unless I ask.
One thing that did stand out about the venue we did book at is she gave us a guarantee. Because we booked a year in advance.
What did she guarantee?
She guaranteed us our date if we booked within 72 hours. Which we did end up doing.
Okay.
So that was a thing too.
Oh, interesting.
Because we had our top 3 lined up to where they would be very close together. So we knew. So she guaranteed us our date if we
Interesting.
booked within 72 hours.
That's something similar. We do something similar. We do a date hold deposit.
Okay.
And so we say if you book within 7 days.
Oh, perfect.
But you put down $250.
Right.
To hold the date.
Yes.
So it's a date hold. But if you book, then that's just part of your deposit.
Of course.
It's not an extra expense.
Right.
And if you let us know within 7 days, then we refund the money.
Very nice.
And so I think we've had maybe one person not tell us within 7 days.
Well, then
and it's like, well, you
that's
had,
yours.
I mean, that's your problem.
Right.
But we do that because we understand that we may not be the last stop.
Right.
Right. So we do that, but we ask for, hey, seems like you guys really like. No, you're fine. Seems like you guys really like it. We like you. Let's make this thing happen. Right? We'll say something silly like that.
Of course.
And then we'll get 60% of the time or 70% of the time.
Yeah.
We still have a couple more to look at.
Right. And I'll go into elaboration. Like on our first stop, they did not offer the thing. It was then and there. So that was a little discomforting.
That's, I mean, really what they're probably getting after, and this is me being gracious.
Yeah.
Is they're probably getting after is that I can't guarantee that your date will be available when you're ready to book.
Which makes total sense.
If you don't book it right now.
Right. Very popular venues. Yes, of course.
So I can understand that perspective, but the other side of it is we as venue owners need to understand the perspective of our potential clients. And that's, we're speaking as a prospect.
Yeah.
Somebody looking for a wedding venue is, we don't want to mess up and make the wrong decision.
Yes.
This is a very big decision on one of the most important days of my life.
Yep.
And it's very expensive.
Yes.
And so if I don't get this right, then I will have not as many good memories as I otherwise could have.
Correct.
And so we as venue owners need to keep that in mind. And that's why I really like the date hold deposit. I like that guarantee with the 3-day thing. There's nothing wrong with that. Right. I like getting a little bit of money commitment.
Of course.
Because now that's, you put some dollars up.
Yes.
And it puts it back on you.
Yes.
If you want your money back,
right,
you got to come talk to me.
Right.
Right? Mm-hmm. And so that's why I like that, because now it's not me chasing you down.
Right.
It's you coming back to me.
Which goes back to your, 32 or 36 they were viewing? Like, that makes no sense. They could, no way.
Exactly. They won't.
Right.
They'll probably see 5 or 6.
Yes.
And then make a decision.
Right.
Because that's just insanity.
Exactly.
So, but that's what we like to do, because we don't like to chase people down.
Right.
And so if I have $250 of your dollars,
then
are you going to call me?
Oh, for
You're
sure.
You're going to call me.
Oh, for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
But also if you really like it because your wife's giving you the eye.
Yes.
And let me ask you, if they had said that instead of the 3 days, no commitment, just within 3 days, if they had said, hey, we have a date hold deposit, it's 7 days while you still decide, and it's $250, which is part of your deposit.
Yes.
Or we give you your money back if you don't book.
Would
you have done it?
It would have been a green light at that point.
Would you have done it?
I would have.
So you said, here's $250.
Here's $250. Worst case scenario, the third one is beautiful and I eat $250.
Well, you wouldn't even eat it.
Right.
You'd call back and say, hey, we went somewhere else.
Exactly.
And then you get your money back.
Yes, I would have.
See, it's a win-win.
Right.
Because you get the security of having your date, but you don't risk the money if you don't like it, unless you just go to 8 or 9 days.
Correct.
So then it's like whatever.
Right.
So okay, well that's really interesting. So then, was there anything else that helped you decide? Yeah.
So at the very end, very end, they gave us a gift basket of different assortment of things, bath bombs, thank you for visiting. And that was a reminder when we got home. We were enjoying ourselves.
So it wasn't even there.
It was
because you were already like, oh, we like this place, whatever.
Yeah. And I did not think anything of it until later that night. How nice was that of them? They didn't even have to. So that really set it apart.
Yeah. Okay. So what was the car ride like after that one?
The car ride home? Oh, I'm laughing.
You all right?
Yeah, I'm good. Because it was sight on scene. You know, she wanted to book immediately.
Mm-hmm.
But we'd already set the 3, and we committed to 3 between each other.
Mm-hmm.
But sight on scene, it was a green light from her, which again is the hardest thing to find. So she could not stop talking about, you know, how nice she was, giving her the opportunity to envision on her own without. Again, it might be different to separate couples, but on her own to envision without any input from the groom.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, well, this has been very enlightening, and actually it really resonates with a lot of things that we're already teaching, and the things that I go over with not only my own venues, my own managers, but also with the clients that I have. And so it just really resonates. And so to sum up, and you tell me if I missed the mark here.
Of course.
But what it sounds like to me is once they meet the basic accommodations that you're looking for, right? Which they're either going to have it or they're not.
Right.
And each venue is different. You may not have what everybody's looking for, but that's okay because you'll have something that someone's looking for. So once you have that, then it really comes down to all of the impressions that are made.
Correct. And how they approach the situation, right? There's many different approaches. But super aggressive may not be
Meaning
the way.
What?
Super aggressive, you know, asking for the upcharges and everything else.
Asking for the upcharges?
Yeah, you know, their preferred vendor.
Did somebody ask for that?
They did.
Which one?
So the very last one we went to that they were late to. Asked for upcharges for, you know, the I don't know the specific
so like outside vendor fees and everything.
Correct.
So not only were they late, but then they wanted to ask for things that didn't matter at that point.
Correct. Yeah, we didn't even get into the weeds of the outside vendors, but they made it very open and apparent that if we did do an outside vendor, there was an upcharge.
Really? Okay.
That was before we even
Well,
booked.
at least they told you about that.
Yes.
But yeah, I personally don't like charging for outside vendors or anything like that. And that's some venues you can do that. I've seen that work in certain areas, but by and large, I mean, who's it for? Who's the day for?
Right.
Right. Okay. So going back to it, the determining factors weren't even like, yeah, they had to have the things that you're looking for.
Right.
Right. Obviously.
And all 3 potentially did.
Right. So assuming all things being equal, they all have the same thing. They're all beautiful.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Now it comes down to how you interact, how quickly you respond. Well, first, how your website looks, how your reviews look, how well you respond initially. How are you showing up for the tour?
And that was the big thing in our case is how are you showing up?
Right. So how are you showing up? And then on the tour, are you tapping into the emotions?
Yes.
Are you painting the vision of what could be and helping them see how they could, like helping them place themselves into your venue?
Yes.
And then service over everything. So being hospitable, offering refreshments, and a gift basket at the end.
Yeah,
really sealed the deal.
And that was the only venue to offer that at the very end.
Yeah, it's not very common.
Really?
Yeah, it's not common at all.
Okay.
So actually, our venues are the only ones that I know of in our area that do gift boxes.
In the one we booked with, the second venue was the only one that offered that, and it was a reminder. After your mind was off of it, it brought you back into the moment.
Okay, well, Tyler, thank you for explaining that from a buyer's perspective.
Of course,
because that is just extra enlightenment. Yeah. And confirmation of the things that we've already been focused on and working on, and really it's the experience.
Of course.
And so that's what I'm trying to impress upon my listeners and any venue owner that's maybe you're getting into the game, maybe you don't know where to start, anything like that. But if you put your couples first and you take care of them, then they'll take care of you by giving you their business. And And if you think that it's not noticed, it's actually noticed. So it's a lot of little things. There's no one big thing. Now, not showing up for your own tour is a big deal, and it's hard to recover from that.
Right, and not schedule, being present and not scheduling it, but going on a whim is also a bad look.
Right, it's a bad look, but she could have recovered from that.
Right.
But the one that didn't show up for 30 minutes, you can have the most beautiful venue in the world, but it's so hard to recover from that.
Yes.
And that's such an easy fix. So if you're in that boat where you're consistently not showing up, fix it. Show up, because you can fix that tomorrow. You can fix that on your very next tour. And whatever excuses that you give for why you're always late is just that. They're just excuses. So get over yourself. And this may sound a bit harsh and straightforward, but get over it. You're not there for you. Well, you are, but you're there for them so they can be there for you. And so if you don't show up for them, then they won't be there for you. And so think about that. And that I'll actually close with that, is we need to be better as venue owners, and we need to do better and show up for our people so that then they show up for us. And so hopefully this has been an enlightening episode. This has been one of my longer episodes, actually.
Of course, yeah.
But I think it was very worthwhile to go in and just talk about all of this, so we can get some other perspective beyond just what we've seen on our side of things. And so, Tyler, thank you so much for coming on. And hopefully, if you found this to be useful, please subscribe, share it with your friends. If you know any other venue owners who might be needing to hear something of this, there's been a lot of things in here that can be useful. So hopefully this has been useful, give you some things to reflect on and to improve on. And hopefully you're able to improve and to grow your business and get more bookings on your calendar. And so with that, I will catch you on the next one.